We're missing. That's why it's a gunna plea. What a gunna plea is you are charging us for a RICO. Now we y'all sat here and we went over the RICO for Sean Puff Daddy Combs. Now I get it, that's federal, this is state, but RICOs usually have about the same main components. What's a RICO? And I'm sorry I'm going this slow, but I want everybody to understand, even if you don't know nothing about the law. So a RICO, what you have to prove, a RICO is a organizational conspiracy charge. What's a conspiracy charge? It's an agreement between at least two people to do a crime. So you need at least two people to do a crime. Both of them have to know that they're doing a crime. So if you hire a nigga if you get in the Uber and you go rob a bank, you don't get hit with a RICO. The Uber driver had no fucking idea. You and your mans in them, y'all get in a car and y'all go do a crime. That would be one of the predicate offenses for a RICO. But let me explain. So you need two more people agreeing to do a crime, and you need at least two crimes that show a pattern of criminal activity. Do you get what I'm saying? Perfect. So when I say a gunna plea, the hardest thing for the prosecutors to prove in the RICO case against Thug is that YSL was a enterprise. It was a criminal street gang. Okay? And that is a component as well. So when Gunna said YSL is a gang, and they label him in the hierarchy mode as second in command, it gives them a thing that they don't have to argue about all day, because they have a defendant saying YSL is a gang. Now, after that, they have many different crimes committed by other people. They have crimes, they had multiple crimes that they accused Jeffrey Williams of being associated with, but everybody else had crimes. Oh, he shot this cop. He did this. You just need two of those crimes. And then they charged 28 people. You only needed two people to be in agreement. Do you understand how that plea helps the overall mission to get a conviction? That's all I'm saying. So let's go back to YNW Portland. Why do I say he signed a gunna plea? Because YNW Melly, and I watched the case, we covered it. YNW Melly's case is that, number one, you guys have not done a job to prove that this is actually a homicide they have proved it's a homicide, but prove that this is a homicide with this person being the offender. So he's saying, how do we know that it was a murder? How do you know he got murdered? Number one, even though there's proof that dudes got shot, but he's saying that the proof of that has nothing to do with me. Also, the accessory after the fact plea confirms that Bortland, that's kind of like almost like a sub part of a conspiracy, except you weren't with the conspiracy at first. You came in after the fact. What that proved is that they came in. Oh my God, my dog's crying. What that proved is that Bortland worked with someone after he acknowledged that a murder took place in trying to cover it up. Do you hear what I just said? When pleading to an accessory to murder after the fact, you have to acknowledge that the murder happened and you assisted someone or in some way to cover the murder. Now, if Melly's statement is, how do we know there was a murder? And then secondly, how do we know who did the murder? Because they said it was a drive-by. How the hell would Bortland help anybody but the person he know? How would he help the random guys who did a drive-by? That wouldn't even make sense. So it would almost, in a way, it points to elbow. If you're helping someone after the fact, you're probably helping the suspect. That's what I'm saying. It's a gunna plea. His plea eliminates the things that they were having a hard time trying to prove, because his admission will help the story that they're trying to tell versus YNW Melly. Okay? Now, what we're used to is complete cooperation. That's 6ix9ine. That's Cornelius Smith. That's Blue in Queso's situation, where they're sitting up there and they said, my son did it, Shotty did it, Hernandez Govan and Justin Johnson did it. They're pointing people out. Or Robert Allen in the ex murderer case, XXXTentacion, his murder case. That's complete cooperation. However, these pleas, why I call it a gunner plea, is because a lot of what people think is either cooperation or whatever the case is essentially only when you sit on a stand and point people out. That's not the case. Not trying to throw Thug under the bus or use him as a whatever, but if Young Thug helped the cops when he said, he sells drugs every day, say the cops take that information. By the way, I want to keep this in mind. Diddy's house got raided because of something Lil Rod said. When you say something in a police interrogation, you are basically like, especially even more even when you're speaking to a federal officer, because lying to a federal agent is a crime. It's a crime. Lying is a crime to a federal agent. But when you tell that to a police officer in an interrogation room, they could use your statement as probable cause to get a search warrant, to even possibly at a certain point get a Title III wiretap. They could get a lot of shit from. So when people say, oh, no, I didn't tell the truth, I lied to the cop. But you could have given probable cause to a police officer to go kick somebody's door down, to go tap their phone, to go harass them or go look for shit, and maybe they find other shit. So basically, the idea of saying anything at all just isn't helpful. Are you guys following me here? So the point is, there's different levels of cooperation, but it's cooperating nonetheless. You might not be on the stand, but you might just be in the interrogation room saying, I'll tell you anything you want, take my number. It don't matter what it is. The police could use that information to go make an arrest or make a case. And I thought that's what the point with snitching was. I'll stop talking from here. Let's get into this Bortland plea, which I believe I'm calling, and I'm still going to call, a gunner plea. Check this out.
Back on the record, this is on the top of my page 5, State versus Cortland Henry, 19-1871 CF10A and 23-10643 CF10A. I've got Ms. Collins, Mr. Griffiths present for the state. I've got Mr. Haddad, Mr. Nascimento present for Mr. Henry, who likewise is present. So I had set this afternoon for the deadline as to whether or not Mr. Henry wanted to accept the state's offer or not. We were set to go with jury selection tomorrow morning. So Mr. Haddad or Mr. Nascimento will go forward to change of plea this afternoon.
Now, and I hate that I'm pausing, but I got to explain to y'all because some people are overlooking. It was important to put all the cards on deck against Bortland and have his trial go before Melly. Why? I'll tell you why. Because, number one, you want him to cooperate. So his trial was going to start tomorrow. Melly's trial kept getting postponed. They were going to have jury selection tomorrow. So this is why they came with this plea, and they said, you have 24 hours to accept it. You got 24 hours. Somebody says, I'm giving the wrong information. I'll get on the line with any of y'all about this. There is no wrong information to give on this. This is it's just strictly facts. There are some technicalities people are working off. The point what I'm trying to tell you, yes, this cooperation doesn't look like the cooperation of Cornelius Smith, but if you think that the prosecutors give out deals to not leverage a deal to make their other case, you're an idiot. Do you think they just like these guys? Like, you got to start using your brain here. if the prosecutor is giving this guy a deal, they're trying to leverage that deal to help their other case. Now, if you have a different definition of what you believe cooperation is, and it only entails someone sitting up there and saying Melly did the murder, sure. And in some people's opinion, they believe that he won't have to speak about the murder. But you make it make sense.
And state, is it the same terms that you discussed previously? Is there anything?
Calling it a Gunner plea is wrong information. I'm using Gunner's name just as a big name. I'm just saying that his plea, like, prosecutors aren't just giving out pleas in these complex cases to resolve them. They're giving these pleas out to advance their case. So how did they advance it with Gunner? They had Gunner. If they were just giving out a plea to just get Gunner out of there, why did they have Gunner say yes, ma'am? You got to answer that question. I get what y'all trying to. Y'all keep using the same talking points. A lot of Gunner fans who keep saying he was never going to take the stand. They never used it in court. They never this. Well, why? Well, just you answered this to me. If none of this mattered, why under oath did he say YSL is a gang and I know 2 or more individuals that committed crimes? Why? And
as a proud WBENC certified dealership, Pacifico's Fleet Division can offer minority.
Tell me why. If none of what he said or did mattered, why do it? So you tell me why. You think, the prosecutors is in there wasting time, right? Oh, it is wasting time. Oh, the judges in there wasting time. Why? Answer the questions. If, again, and this is what I'm saying about telling, because people will be like, well, no one got locked up. You see, everybody got an excuse. That's, I love the picking and choosing. The best one is, nobody got locked up because of what I said. So you said Johnny got all them guns, but because Johnny got killed before the cops raided his spot, that's not telling because he didn't get locked up. He just got killed. But you told, though, right? Did you tell or not? People, they move the goalposts. Well, I gave my number. I told them they could call me, but I wasn't going to tell them nothing. I was flirting. Okay, why the hell are you talking to the police, offering your number, saying let's keep it a secret? You could ask me anything. Okay. In the case of gun, why do you say could Gunners YSL a gang? No, ma'am. Could he have said that? If you can't tell me why he couldn't have said that, shut up. That's the only point I'll say. I get it. Some of y'all, I see Gunner fans, I'm not Team Gunner or Team Thug. All of these niggas were doing what every regular civilian would do when your ass is when Johnny Law come and they about to put belt to ass. If you think that ain't nobody gonna see what you doing, you try to get the fuck out of this shit. All of this super thug gangster shit is done. It's over with. These guys are regular. I keep telling you, it's not like us. They're just like me and you. You see Gunner in court. He thought no cameras was in there that time. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You see Thug. He thought there was no cameras and no recordings. Take my number. You get whatever you want. I keep promises. I'm not Team Gunner or Team Thug. I'm gonna listen to both of them. But let's not act like either one is better than the other. That's my thing. Okay? So now let's get back to the play.
No, Your Honor, that has changed. It's correctly reflected on the preforms.
So the preforms to me look like on the 19th case as to the 2 counts of accessory after the fact, as well as to all 4 counts in the 23 case. These are going to be adjudications, 10 years Florida State Prison, followed by, that's a 6 years probation.
That's correct.
6 years probation. All counts are run concurrently. All sentences run concurrently with one another. It looks like there's no restitution in the 23 case. In the 19 case, I'm reserving restitution and ordering it payable. That's going to be to Terry Bagley as well as Ashley Phillips.
Yes, sir.
So we now have to
We've spoken to them and they don't anticipate there being any restitution.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll give you 120 days to tell me an amount.
Yes, sure. They are present as well, too. So So our capacity has informed them of that.
Okay.
Let us know.
Okay.
As of today, they said there is none.
All right, and state, is that the complete term? That's it?
He's also going to be giving it to Crawford, Your Honor, at a later time.
Okay. I want to pause it here. Okay. Now, and it's for all people not giving accurate information. I want to explain to you what a proffer is. A proffer is usually called in many different places, many different things. But a proffer is usually required for everybody who is a cooperative. Now, let me make this very clear. Because you take a proffer doesn't mean you cooperated. But if you cooperated, you have to take a proffer. Does that make sense? Now, what is a proffer? A proffer is usually a session between the defendant and the U.S. attorneys or the district attorneys in this case. And what usually happens is that they call it, and this is the popular name for it, Queen for a Day. Usually a part of your plea deal, they want you, well, not all, like, well, plea is different, but in a proffer session, they're going to allow you to tell them everything. And when you tell them everything, if it's with, usually they're going to outline whatever, but they're going to make sure everything is carved out that usually it can't be used against you in the future, and that your plea actually reflects the information that you're given, not only on the penalty and punishment side, but that whatever you're saying to them, it doesn't come back around on you. Okay? So that's why it's called Queen for a Day. You could look it up. It's Queen for, we could even go on YouTube, because I know some of y'all real skeptical. Yeah, I noticed that y'all will trust me with everything. But when it comes to the niggas y'all like, y'all don't want to hear it from me no more. Like, it's like, nah, son, nah, it's not a gunner plea. Nah, what you mean? Gunner. They told me, nigga, why the fuck did he say yes, ma'am, then? To all of these things that would be requirements for a fucking RICO. Why? When gunner fans answer that to me, I will continue that conversation. Queen for a Day. Okay? Proffer. I want somebody to explain it for a second. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Michael Poole. I'm an attorney with the Esfandi Law Group. Today we're going to discuss proffered agreements, otherwise known as Queen for a Day agreements. What these agreements are ones made between a federal prosecutor, otherwise known as the Assistant U.S. Attorney, and a prospective.
Okay, they're talking federal law. So in federal law, after you do your Queen for a Day, you basically have this agreement that is only honored by what's called a 5K1 letter. And it's only given, this is why people don't play that YSL Woody bullshit, where Woody supposedly said whatever to the detectives and got up there and said something else. No, in state court, people work off immunities, this and third. In federal court, your proffer, and I told y'all this, 6ix9ine had like over a 24 hours proffer, which means every fucking agency, nigga, I think ICE came in there. They're like, hold on, we got questions too. DEA, ATF, FBI. Nigga, he told me, nigga, he talking, well, not, I mean, he been talking, but he's active now. I could ask him. Nigga, he said at one point, some agency that didn't identify himself walked in the room and said, yo, what you know about Jay Prince? Nigga, they want to know everything. You got to tell them everything. This is a proffer. This is not no, oh, I'm keeping it P. No. The very notion of a criminal doing a proffer is usually the basis of telling. That's what it is. It's telling. Okay? So let me let this guy explain it. He's talking about federal court. I know we're talking state, but the same premise exists.
Otherwise known as the Assistant U.S. Attorney, and a prospective defendant. For the defendant, the purpose of the interview is to attain some sort of leniency or immunity in exchange for information they may have about larger crimes. For the AUSA, the purpose is to obtain an honest preview of what sort of information they can get out of this witness, person of interest, or target of the investigation. This meeting will take place at the office of the federal prosecutor,
Yes.
but your lawyer will also be present there as well. This is just a brief overview of this issue. For more information, please.
Okay, let's go to another one. Let me. Here we go.
This is the federal government. What they want it to be.
Okay, well, it's called Queen for Day in federal court because what happens, you get the 5K1 letter. There's no 5K1 letter in state court. That's the thing. Okay, look, before cooperating,
You should always get a proffer letter before you cooperate with the government. I'm sure you've heard of a proffer letter.
now, you know what the funny part about this? There were so many people that were up in arms today, and they were like, it doesn't mean this guy is telling. He only has to speak about not the murder, but the witness tampering. I thought telling was, I hate the streets. They move the goalposts when they don't want to call a nigga a rat. Oh, nah, he not telling about the shit with Melly. He's telling about how he drove the body to it's like, I ain't gonna tell you how these niggas robbed the bank. I'll just tell you how we all went to Turks and we blew the money that they mysteriously got. Bruv, come on. He's taking a proffer. And the reason why I call it a gunna plea, the way how I've seen this structured so far, or what his lawyer, I'm not sure what his lawyer is even saying. It's structured to say this plea didn't hurt Melly, but any plea hurts Melly. Are you dumb? It's like Thug. Any plea hurt Thug. Thug was saying YSL ain't a gang. And then this nigga Sergio Wanatelli Kitchens raises his hand and be like, nah, it is a gang. What are you talking about? Nah, it is a gang. Well, that theory goes out the window. That's the point. That's why it's a gunna plea. Because you're going to hear people argue that this plea is not direct telling. It's not 6ix9ine. He's not doing a 6ix9ine. But his plea, by very nature of the definition, all of his charges stem from one event or the events after or subsequent events, witness tampering, accessory after the fact, or murder, is stemmed from the murder that they claim Melly did. If you're talking at all, it means that the information will hurt Melly. You can't go into a proffer session and spin the government. You will do, by the way, he's adjudicated guilty of certain things already. If you try to spin the government in a proffer session or anything, if they find out you're lying about anything, it's off the table and you're already guilty. That's how it works. That's why there's a proffer agreement. In a proffer agreement, you got to be truthful, because if you're not truthful, your plea is kaput. So this idea that you keep hearing these dumb street niggas say that they're spinning the cops, you're not spinning a proffer agreement. A proffer agreement is different than what Jeffrey Williams did in the interrogation room. He's talking to an investigator. That's an interrogation. It's not a proffer agreement. A proffer agreement, well, in this case, there might be a detective, but it's going to be attorneys talking. This is attorneys. This is not like the cop with his bat. No.
DraftKings Casinos, combining two things I love: touchdowns and bonus rounds. And we're going deep with the...
You're going to sit in front of him and say, all right, bet. Tell us what the fuck happened. Now, if y'all want to say that ain't telling, I don't know. Y'all can make up 30 different rules for this shit. Somebody say it's not snitching. He's giving factual false info. Okay, if that's what y'all want to believe. Let me just let this play a little bit. Now you can understand what a proffer is. Remember, I'm not making this up my ass. You hear the judge. They agree with the state that there's going to be a proffer at a later date. On the plea agreement, they say he has to do a proffer. And by the way, if anything of the plea gets violated, the plea's out the window. And remember, the plea, once accepted, the judge, you're getting adjudicated no matter what the plea says. And you can only get adjudicated guilty, innocent. You could plead no contest, but sometimes they'll do the prosecutor could do no pros, which means they're not prosecuting. But that's not what a judge is going to adjudicate you as, right? He's guilty of certain shit. They dismiss certain shit. He's guilty of that, which means if he lies on his proffer, they're throwing the book at him for 30 years because I think he did He did nolo contendere, which is no contest. He did that for accessory after the fact. It carries, it goes up to like 20 or 30 years. If you lie, they're giving him 16 years, but really got to serve 10. By the time all the time off, he got to serve 7. If he lies, they're giving the plea agreements out the window. So whatever you hear they're about to say to him, out the window, and they're giving him 20 to 30 instantly. This ain't the time to try to spin the cops, my nigga. Don't even take this if you're going to spin the cops. This is not even the cops. It's the fucking district attorney. Okay?
We've spoken to them and they don't anticipate there being any restitution.
I keep saying people saying he pled no contest. The idea of pleading no contest, I wish I had. Oh, Bradford Cohen called me tomorrow already about some other shit. But I'll get Bradford on here. Pleading no contest, Doug pled Nolo as well. A lot of times what that means, it's not having liability for some of these crimes. Like if Thug didn't plead Nolo, he would be technically liable, and RICO statutes usually have restitution and also could turn to civil cases. If somebody got shot in that RICO that wasn't even by Thug, they could sue Thug because he's the mastermind, because that's what he was admitting on their oath. Mastermind, that's what they want him to be. He ain't admitted. Mastermind of YSL, which was a racketeering conspiracy organization. There will be lawsuits out the wazoo. Also, there's legal complications when you plead just guilty. So sometimes they want to plead no contest, which means the judge is saying you're guilty. And by the way, this wholly pled no contest, I will play it directly for y'all. The judge says, I accept your no contest plea and I adjudicate you guilty. That's how it works. There's no, oh, no contest. You're guilty. So this whole thing about no, he pled no contest, shut up. He's guilty. I've been seeing this shit all day, Chad. If I seem a little angry, I've been seeing dumb niggas say, no, he pled no contest. The judge took his no contest and says, I adjudicate you guilty. There is nowhere where you go to jail and it's like you're adjudicated non-contest. That's not an adjudication. That's your plea. Just like when you show up to court and they say you plead not guilty, and then by the end of the shit, the jury say you guilty, it doesn't say, oh, well, I said I wasn't guilty. No, it says you're fucking guilty. So you pleading no contest means not a motherfucking thing. The judge adjudicates you whatever is going to stand. And he says guilty. It's over. Guilty. That's the point. Guilty.
Well, I'll give you 120 days to tell me the amount. If there's
Yes,
no
Your
amount, you won't give me restitution.
They are present as well, too, so Margaret Chapman has informed them that
Okay.
there's a restitution. They can let us know.
Okay.
As of today, they said there is none.
Here we go.
All right, and state, is that the complete term? That's it?
He's also going to be giving it to Crawford, Your Honor,
Proffer.
at a later time.
Well, is that part of the negotiated
Yes, Your Honor.
resolution?
It is.
Part of the negotiated resolution. You got to give a proffer. You got to give a proffer. I see some slow ones in the back thinking that, like, you think prosecutors take you to do all this to be like, all right, you're going to just go home, but just give us a good story before you get out of here. And, you know, we're good. No, motherfucker. Like, no, the proffer is the snitching.
Can you tell me how that works? Sure. Sure. Come on up. Madam Clerk, this is not up.
So the judge wants to know, remember, this is state court. I keep saying it's state court because in federal court, there's one rule for the land. The only way you could snitch in federal court, there's actually 2 ways. Actually, about 3. It's two main ways. There is snitching before your trial is done and snitching when you're already in jail serving your sentence. The snitching before the trial is done, you meet with the prosecutors, you have a proffer, and they do a 5K1 letter, which means if you tell on everybody and we get everybody locked up because of you, at the time of your sentence, we present a 5K1 letter. And because in federal guidelines, they can't go below the mandatory minimums. The 5K1 guideline the 5K1 letter is the only way. It's an exception that allows the judge to say, well, this statute that you pled guilty to for 20 years, I can't go below 20 years. Oh, you snitch. We got the 5K1 letter. We could give you 2 years. It's the only way. The judge can't, it's no discretion. So in state court, the judge has way more discretion. Federal court, no. So that's snitching before you get sentenced. After you get sentenced, say you locked up and you knew about a body or you get, some information on somebody else they just got caught up with, you could go to the prosecutor and say, I want to snitch in exchange for post-sentence relief, which means if I was sentenced to 20, either put me to time serve or only give me a year. Say I got a year left. What that is called a Rule 35, which means you're an already sentenced inmate gives information or assists the government with a current prosecution that leads to a conviction, and that has satisfied the government that they use a Rule 35 motion to grant you a resentencing where your sentence could either be commuted or go below the guidelines. The only two way in federal court. In state court, it's a bunch of bullshit. That's why you get YSL Woody. Okay? So that's why the judge told him, come up here. Because he wants to know, is this proffer? Is it going to come with him testifying? What is he going to have to testify to? Also, if he does not cooperate when it comes time for him to either stand by what he said in the proffer, is this plea agreement out the window? That's what I would imagine he's asking. They're going to cut the mics, I would believe, though, because he called them. That's Saba. Yeah, they pumped in white noise. Okay.
The answers, okay? Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? You can put your hand
swear in a
up.
minute.
Please state your full name. How old are you? How far did you go in school? Do you read and understand the English language? Are you presently under the influence of any drugs, medication, or alcohol? Have you ever been treated for a mental illness? Are they giving you any medication in the jail right now? How are you feeling this afternoon? Your head is clear? You understand what's going on this afternoon? You understand you're resolving 2 pending felony cases this afternoon? Mr. Haddad or Mr. Nascimento, have you seen or heard Mr. Henry say or do anything which would call into question in your mind whether he understands what's going on?
Nothing at all. No, yeah.
All right, so Mr. Henry, it's 2 cases, sir. I'm going to go one at a time. In case number 19-1871 CF10A, this is before the agreement you made with the state, before the deal you made with the state. You were charged as follows. Counts 1 and 2 is murder in the first degree with a firearm. Those are capital offenses. The maximum and mandatory penalty is life in Florida state prisons. Counts 3 and 4 are accessory after the fact to murder in the first degree. Those are each first degree.
Okay. So I want to make sure we're going through this so thoroughly. Let me go back in.
As follows. Counts 1 and 2 is murder in the first degree with a firearm.
Okay. Now, the reason why I believe he has taken this plea, accessory for murder, is one thing. When they hit you with that double M, the 2 first-degree murder charges, in Florida state, there is no discretion of the judge in sentencing. It's automatic life. Automatic life. Okay? Now, granted, both murder charges are connected because most likely if they don't think one charge is for juvie, one is for sack chaser. Most likely if they think you didn't kill one, or they wouldn't think you killed the other. However, keep in mind, this is the guy who drove to the hospital with the body. Now, does it mean this murder charge means he had to do the shooting? But no. It could mean that they believe he was with the plot. Doesn't matter. Remember, the guy who drove to the bank for the bank robbery is guilty of the bank robbery too. So they threw the double M's on him to scare that boy. Now, I know some of y'all are super thugged out in here. I said, man, fuck a life sentence. What? But when he was only facing 30 years, he was like, they added the murder charges afterwards to make that nigga know, oh, you think we only want Melly? We'll fry you too. I think that made him think a little bit different. 4 life sentences make a nigga think differently. Let's keep playing.
Those are capital offenses. The maximum and mandatory penalty is life in Florida State Prison. Counts 3 and 4 are accessory after the fact to murder.
Did somebody say you could spin a proffer?
Exceed every expectation in the new 2026 Infiniti QX60 from Infiniti of Westchester.
Hoping he gives them new information. They're hoping he just puts on record what they already know. Nigga, they know what the fuck happened. They're giving him a proffer for him to confirm what they know. The fuck? Or let me not act like he guilty, but like they want him to confirm what they know, not tell him some new story. So the moment he tells some new story, they're gonna push this whole process back. And what's gonna happen is they're gonna investigate that shit. And if he's lying at all, the shit's out the window, you go to jail. They're not gonna let this nigga spin him. Are you crazy?
First degree. Those are each first degree felonies. The maximum penalty is 30 years in Florida State Prison.
Okay. Sorry.
3 and 4 are accessory.
Okay, so the accessory to murder are 30-year 30-year sentences. And there's accessory murder for 2 people, so that's why it's count 3 and 4. So the first 2 are murder for sack chaser juvie, then accessory for sack chaser, accessory for juvie. So 4 charges.
After the fact of murder in the first degree. Those are each first degree felonies. The maximum penalty is 30 years in Florida State Prison. In case number 23106.
Now, that's his first case. So his first case has 4 counts. 2 murder charges, 2 accessory for murder charges, or accessory after the fact charges.
4-3 CF10A. You're charged at count 1, tampering with a witness in a capital felony. That is punishable by life in Florida State Prison.
Now, they got him for tampering. I forgot where that came from, but while they were, they believe he was in communication or he did something weird in Melly's trial to try to like prevent them from get to evidence or prevent someone from being able to truthfully testify. And that's actually crazy. Tampering with evidence or witness in a capital offense trial also carries life. Jesus Christ.
Count 2, directing the activities of a criminal gang. That's a first degree felony. Again, punishable up to life in Florida State Prison.
Okay, so they get tampering with evidence. And then the second one is directing a street gang, which they're going to call YNW a gang.
Count 5 is conspiracy to commit tampering. Again, as it relates to a first degree murder charge, that is punishable by a
Now it's conspiracy to commit tampering.
penalty of life in Florida State Prison. And count 7, unlawful use of a two-way communication.
The reason why they're jumping 1, 3, 5, and 7 is they double up every count because 2 people died. So 1 count is for sack, other count for juvie. Okay. Like, for example, if somebody killed 20 people, they're going to have 20 counts of every type of violence against those people. They would have 20 murder counts. Okay. So a murder charge, but 20 counts of them.
Communication device as charged, that's a second degree felony. The maximum penalty is 15 years in Florida State Prison. So, sir, again, before the agreement you made with the state, before the deal you made with the state, your maximum exposure here was life in Florida State Prison, followed by 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 75 years in Florida State Prison. Sir, do you understand all the pending charges and the maximum possible penalties involved? And it's my understanding that you want to resolve both cases today. Is that correct? Yes. And that resolution is an agreement you've reached with the state, the terms of which are as follows. Number 1, in the 19 case, you're going to plead no contest to both counts of accessory after the fact. In the
Okay. So he's pleading no contest. Now, I keep trying to tell you, we don't give a fuck about his plea. What he's going to be adjudicated for, he's going to have to stand to answer to. Okay? So he's pleading no contest because he's going to get found guilty. Okay?
23 case, you're going to plead no contest to all 4 counts as charged. In exchange for that,
They're going to drop the murder cases.
the state is going to null process, that is, drop the 2 first-degree murder cases.
Bingo. Okay. So let me explain this. I'm doing a laborious job of explaining what's happening here. Because I really see some people was like they're trying to see light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm not here to be an oracle. I'm not here to be like Miss Cleo. I'm just here to tell you what I see, brother, and just tell you the truth. He was charged with 2 homicides. They carry life in prison of SAC and juvie. The deal he signed, they're not going to prosecute him for murder, but he pled no contest for accessory after the fact. By the way, that's what they think they were going to get him on anyway. Him pleading no contest doesn't matter. You're going to hear the judge say, I adjudicate you guilty. No contest don't mean nothing no more. He's guilty. That plea will say guilty. It don't say no contest. It says guilty. Okay? So you're going to hear the judge say it. For everybody, I've seen people tell me, could you switch up your tweet? It was actually no contest. The judge said guilty, nigga. I'm sorry. Like, get out of your fairy tale land, and the proffer is going to have to work off of the guilty. That's how it works. This is court. This ain't a little fairy tale where niggas just do one type of bullshit and just come back home and make more killer songs. It don't work like that. I love Melly, but some of y'all delusional motherfuckers got to get up to date. Okay?
I'm going to adjudicate you guilty. Yes, sir.
Do y'all hear what he just said? Listen again, because some of y'all are deaf in the back. Oh, he pled no contest. Nigga, this ain't a driving offense. This ain't going 45 and a 25. It's murder, you dumbass niggas.
The 2 first-degree murder cases. All right, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty. Yes, sir. In exchange for that, the state is going to null process, that is, drop the 2 first-degree murder cases. All right, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty. Yes, sir.
He hasn't said what they null process. So the prosecutor, so just like how, and this is how it goes. No process is a prosecutor saying that to the judge. The judge has to, you know a prosecutor, I've seen this happen. A prosecutor could come with a plea and the judge say, fuck out of here, I'm not taking that. The judge has to the judge has to decide whether he's taking the plea. So you give recommendations, the judge always decides. So you could say I'm not guilty, then you go through a trial. You could say I'm guilty, then you go to a sentencing. You could say, based on an agreement, I am not contesting, and then the judge does what he wants to do. In the prosecutor's sense, the prosecutor could do what they call null pros, means we have no intention of prosecuting that, and if the judge accepts it, those charges are dismissed. Null pros means they could file them again later. Okay? They could file them again later. But the judge accepts that you and by the way, sometimes there's actually a whole thing about judge accepting null pros stipulations, and then later the prosecutor is trying to go back with it, and the judge is like, no. But that's another thing. Okay. Anyway, they cut him off, but they were going to tell you what he's adjudicating them guilty for.
What's happening with that?
That would be no problem.
So he's only going to plead to the tampering with a witness in a capital felony, conspiracy to commit tampering and unlawful use of a two-way communication device?
Just the tampering and the unlawful use.
Just an unlawful use of a two-way to the tampering with a witness.
Okay, so then an audible comes in, which, by the way, the judge is later going to say this is an incredible plea, but well, it is an incredible plea by the lawyers. But essentially, what I do think that if he was going to be found guilty, he was going to be found guilty of accessory after the fact, not murder, which he was pleading no contest to that, and no contest, he was going to get adjudicated guilty anyway. So what ended up happening is that they cut the judge off, or not cut the judge off. They basically said, no, the agreement isn't for him to plead nolo. Well, actually, I think he pled nolo to accessory after the fact. However, the deal is for that not to be adjudicated guilty. And the judge is actually kind of weighing on it because the prosecutor is telling them. You know what I mean? Like, again, this is like a business like agreement almost.
Happening with that.
That would be no problem.
So he's only going to plead to the tampering with a.
Okay, so never mind. The lawyer said not the prosecutor said it's no process. So it appears that the accessory after the fact they won't prosecute. So it's essentially dismissed.
Happening with that.
Hold on. Let's see. Here.
What's happening with that? Guilty. Yes, sir. What's happening with that?
That would be no problem.
So he's only going to plead to the tampering with a witness in a capital felony, conspiracy to commit tampering and unlawful use of a two-way communication device?
Just the tampering and the unlawful use.
Just count 1 and count 7. State, you're going to null prosecute count 2 and count 5.
Correct, Your Honor.
As it relates only to Mr. Henry.
Correct.
Okay. So, Mr. Henry, what it's going to be is 2 counts of accessory after the fact, tampering with a witness in a capital felony.
Okay, never mind. I was wrong about that. That was the 23 case. It's a little bit confusing because they interrupted the judge. Okay, so it looks like he is pleading guilty to the accessory, which again, once you plead guilty to the accessory.
What it's going to be is 2 counts of accessory after the fact, tampering with a witness in a capital felony, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. In exchange for that, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty on the 2 accessory counts as well as the tampering count. I'm going to sentence you to 10 years.
Okay. Now I need for the slow ones in the back. Remember, he pled no contest or nolo. I want to hear fuck what he said. The nigga's in cuffs. I'm not listening to him. I want to listen to the judge. The only thing that matters is when the judge says, I'm going to adjudicate you. Basically, the nigga's guilty. This is a plea deal. So for everybody who kept saying, nah, he pled no contest, nobody gives a fuck. He's guilty. Okay? Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck what he wants. He's guilty. Let me just play it one more time for the slow ones in the back who kept saying he pled nolo. Listen to the judge.
Tampering with a witness in a capital felony and unlawful use of accessory after the fact.
Hold on.
With a witness.
Correct, Your Honor.
As
Here we
it
go.
relates only to Mr. Henry.
Here we go.
Okay. So, Mr. Henry, what it's going to be.
With Thrivent, your personal finances aren't just personal. We use money as a tool to help all the people we hold in our hearts. Because the most important thing isn't what you're planning for, it's who. Thrivent, where money means more.
Communication device. In exchange for that, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty on the 2 accessory counts as well as the tampering count.
I'm going to adjudicate you guilty. Remember, in court, it's adjudication. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty of the 2 accessory after the fact charges. I'm sorry, I got to slow down for the ones in the back.
I'm going to adjudicate you guilty on the 2 accessory counts as well as the tampering count. I'm going to sentence you to 10 years.
So, good. So he gets adjudicated guilty for accessory after the fact for both murders and for tampering with like a evidence or witness or something. So it's 3 charges. So 3 counts of 3 charges he got adjudicated guilty for. It doesn't matter what he pled. The rest got no prost, which the judge then dismisses. The judge is going off the recommendation sheet on the plea deal, though. That's why he's giving this sentence out so quickly. So for the dumb ones in the back who said nolo or no, this is not he pled nolo. He got adjudicated guilty, not for murder. Nobody thought he killed the guys. For accessory after the fact, he got adjudicated guilty.
Exchange for that, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty on the 2 accessory counts as well as the tampering count. I'm going to sentence you to 10 years in Florida State Prison. That will be followed by 6 of reporting probation. In the unlawful use of a two-way communication device, that's a second-degree felony. The maximum exposure. It's a second as charged, I believe. It's a third, except as it relates to a capital case. But I'm happy to look it up.
That's what we discussed. So.
Well, what did you want the negotiated sentence to be for that?
That was just going to be the maximum time served.
5 years? Is that what you want me to do?
Correct.
Okay.
Again, this is the prosecutor. I believe that's the woman who's a prosecutor. She's doing her thing. But I ain't gonna lie, this is a sweetheart plea. Let me tell y'all this. You think they wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars to give this nigga a break? When have you ever heard the justice system do that? They adjudicate him guilty of accessory to, they call this one of the most heinous murders in Florida state history. This is why they won't let the nigga out of jail for bail, and he's been locked up for 6 years. They adjudicated this nigga guilty of accessory after the fact. You think they're doing this to just say, oh, go home? Come on, bro. They're doing this because they want this nigga to sing like a Tweety Bird. They want him to sing like Aretha Franklin, sing like C Breezy, sing like SZA. Yes. Remember, he ain't do the proffer yet.
All right, so, sir, as to that count, it's going to be the adjudication of 5 years in Florida State Prison. So the 2 accessory counts as well as the tampering count, those come with 6 years of reporting probation after the Department of Corrections sentence. I'll give you credit for all the time that you've served in both cases. All of those counts will run concurrently. All those sentences will run concurrently. All counts in all cases, that is at the same time with each other. I'm going to have to impose mandatory court costs. I'm going to order restitution payable to Terry Bagley and payable to Ashley Phillips and reservists to the amount. I'm going to give the state 120 days to tell me the amount of that restitution. If they fail to do so within 120 days, there will be no restitution. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys agree on the amount, I will impose that as another condition of your sentence to pay back that restitution. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys do not agree on the amount, I will conduct a restitution hearing. Sir, lastly, and I want to make it very clear on the record, and it's unrelated to this negotiated change of plea, I guess at some point after the fact, the state wants to take a proffer.
You hear this?
Negotiated change of plea. I guess at some point after the fact, the state wants to take a proffer from you or have a discussion with you, ask you some questions about whatever that may be. What I want you to understand, sir, is I guess that's part of this negotiated resolution, but your answers to any of those questions, whatever they might be, have no bearing on me and have no bearing on this negotiated resolution. In other words, the deal you've negotiated is the deal you've negotiated, and that's the ballgame. Do you understand all that, sir? Have you had enough time to talk to your lawyers about all that? They've answered all your questions? You're sure that that's what you want to do?
Now, when he's saying your answers to the questions, the judge is saying, I'm not a prosecutor. I'm not here to tell you you got to do whatever. You can do whatever you want. The deal includes a proffer. Whatever you and your lawyer do in that proffer, it's on you. Now, you got to remember, a proffer agreement is something that they could use. It is something, remember, it's queen for a day, unless you go up in there lying. If you go up in there lying, there is going to backfire. So basically, that's what the judge is saying.
Because I want to emphasize, Mr. Henry, and I'm going to do this again at the end of my plea colloquy, whether you resolve the case by way of a negotiated plea or an open plea to me, or you resolve the case by way of a trial, it doesn't matter to me at all. But due to the resources that have been devoted to this case, I have 250 jurors summoned for jury duty starting tomorrow. So I want to be very thorough with you here this afternoon, because if you wake up tomorrow or the next day and you decide you've changed your mind and you want to resolve this case, both cases, by way of a jury trial, that's not going to happen. All right? If you want to have a trial, the trial starts tomorrow. If you want to accept the deal, you can accept the deal today. But there's not going to be any buyer's remorse, in other words, because I've given you plenty of time to think about this, talk to your lawyers about it, talk to your family about it. I talked to you about it last week. Kind of looks like your lawyers probably did something or other to get a better disposition for you as of this afternoon. But this is it today. So understanding all that, you've had enough time to talk to your lawyers about all that. That's what you want to do. So, sir, has anyone forced you, threatened you, or coerced you into entering these pleas? If I accept your pleas, there will not be a trial in either one of these cases. Do you understand that? If I accept these pleas, there's a whole bunch of constitutional rights you are giving up. I want to make sure you understand all of those rights. You have the right to maintain your plea of not guilty and have a trial in each case. You have the right to present defenses, to file motions and other pleadings in support of your defense. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have the state prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to confront and cross-examine the witnesses against you. You have the right to appeal any decisions that I may have made up to this point or any rulings I might make in a future trial. But understanding by entering this negotiated resolution today, you are giving up all of those rights. The matter is going to be resolved today, right now, this afternoon. Is that what you want to do? Are you satisfied with your lawyers? Have you had enough time to speak with them? Have they answered all your questions? Are you satisfied with all the work that they have done for you? Sir, I've got two identical plea forms here entitled Plea of Guilty or No Contest to Criminal Charges in Circuit Court. Each one has your name on the top, your initials on the left-hand side, front and back, and your signature on the back. Did you go over both of these forms? Any questions about what's on either of these forms? And is that your signature on the back of each form? Sir, there's a few things that I need to tell everyone that I take a plea from. They may or may not apply to you. If you are not a citizen of the United States, these pleas will result in your deportation. Do you understand that? Under the provisions of the Jimmy Rice Act, if the offenses to which you are pleading are sexually violent or sexually motivated offenses, or if you've been previously convicted of such offenses, then these pleas will subject you to an involuntary civil commitment as a sexually violent predator upon completion of your sentences. Do you understand that? If these are the drug offenses, the Department of Motor Vehicles will revoke your driver's license for a period of 1 year. Do you understand that? Sir, paragraph 11 of each form that you sign reads as follows. I acknowledge that my attorney and I have reviewed any discovery disclosed by the state. My attorney and I are unaware of any physical evidence for which DNA may exonerate me. In other words, sir, if there's any physical evidence in the case that we could test for DNA, that DNA evidence would not tell me that you were not one of the people in that vehicle when these crimes occurred. But actually the opposite would be true. If there was any such physical evidence that could be tested for DNA, that DNA evidence would tell me that you were one of the two people that was inside this vehicle when these crimes occurred. Sir, do you agree with that statement? State, do you agree with that statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, do you agree with that statement? Mr. Henry, understanding everything that I have talked to you about up to this point, do you still want to go ahead and resolve both cases today, right now? Defense, is he stipulating to a factual basis for the purpose of each plea in both cases?
Yes.
And if he's entitled to a PSI, defense, are you going to waive that as to each case?
Absolutely.
State, is there anything else that you need me to do before I take his plea?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Henry, again, two cases. We're going to do one at a time. In case number 19, 1871 CF10A, as to count 3, accessory after the fact to murder in the first degree, and as to count 4, accessory after the fact as to murder in the first degree. How are you going to plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? In case number 23, 10643 CF10A, as to count 1, tampering with a witness in a capital felony, and count 7, unlawful use of a two-way communication device. How are you going to plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? I will accept your no contest pleas as to each. I'm going to find a factual basis to support each based upon my review of each electronic probable cause affidavit, as well as your stipulation in court here today. I'm going to further find that you have freely, voluntarily, and intelligently waived your rights, that you have knowingly entered each plea with the advice of competent counsel who you've told me that you are satisfied with, that you understand the nature of the charges and the consequences of the plea. Accordingly, and pursuant to the negotiated agreement, I will sentence you as follows. In case number 19, 1871 CF10A, as to count 3 and count 4, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 10 years in Florida State Prison. That will be followed by 6 years of reporting probation. I will impose mandatory court costs. Pursuant to 943.325, I will need a set of your prints and DNA. Pursuant to 938.27, I will impose a cost of prosecution of $100. Sir, I'm also ordering restitution in that case payable to Terry, T-E-R-R-I Bagley, B-A-G-L-E-Y, and Ashley, A-S-H-L-E-Y Phillips, P-H-I-L-L-I-P-S, and reserving as to the amount. I'm going to give the state 120 days to tell me the amount of the restitution. If they fail to do so within 120 days, there will be no restitution. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys agree on the amount,
Almost done.
Come on, man.
count 1 and count 7, I will adjudicate you guilty. Count 7 is a sentence of 5 years in Florida State Prison. Count 1 is a sentence of 10 years in Florida State Prison, followed by 6 years of reporting probation. I will impose mandatory court costs in that case as well. I will not impose the cost of prosecution in that case as I just did so in the previous case. Pursuant to 943.325, I will need another set of your prints and DNA. All of these, there is no restitution in that case. All of these sentences, all counts, both cases, will run concurrently. That is at the same time with each other. I will give you credit for all the time that you have served. State, in 191871 CF10A, your announcement as to counts 1 and 2.
The state will be announcing a null process to those counts, Your Honor.
And in case number 23-10643 CF10A, state your announcement as to count 2 and count 5.
The state will be announcing a null process to those counts as well.
Okay. I think that concludes all the matters. State, is there anything else that you need me to do regarding Mr. Henry in either case?
Mr. You just have one moment.
I'm looking at the plea forms, the 23 case, they have 707 days credit for time served. In the 19 case, 1,340 days credit for time served.
Nothing else, but I think we just have it in court.
So listen, my the fee hearing docket is at 3:30 p.m. So
We've already spoken with BSI, I think we're just in court. Here for about a week.
okay. I mean, I was going to make it available if you wanted to do it now.
I think BSI has probably.
Okay, so they're in charge.
Coordinator with.
Yeah.
Judge.
Anything else from the defense on behalf of Mr. Henry?
No.
All right, Mr. Henry, I'm not quite sure how your lawyers managed to do this, but I wish you good luck, sir. Yeah, he'll be on, Mr. Nesmith and Mr. Haddad. We'll have a probation officer here tomorrow. He'll be on my docket tomorrow morning for the instructions on probation. So I will sign all the paperwork if you want to stick around for that. We're otherwise going to be in recess till 3:30 p.m. The fee hearing docket starts at 3:30 p.m., so I'll be in a recess until then. Mr. Henry, I'm not quite sure how your lawyers managed to do this.
Oh man, had a nigga could call me trying to bet. So I had somebody call me. I just bet 10 grand. So I got a 5. All right, so chat. I got 10K bet. That's what we was just arguing. I won't tell who, but I got 10K bet. Someone said, "Yo, I'm gonna bet that he is not gonna say nothing that's gonna hurt Melly," and they pointed out a part to me. They said, if you check out the plea, because the judge said this, let me go back to it.
That is at the same time with each other. I will give you credit for all the DNA. State your announcement as to count 2 in either case.
Here we go.
They have 707 days credit for time served in the next.
Oh.
So listen, my the fee hearing docket is at 3:30 p.m. So
We've already spoken.
hold on.
and in case number 20,
Here we go.
indicate you guilty. Count 7.
Hold on.
325. State 10 that you need me to do regarding Mr. Henry in either case.
Mr. You just have one moment.
Hold on.
It's a 23 case. That will be followed by 6 years of reporting probation.
Okay.
I will impose mandatory court costs. Pursuant to 943.325, I will need a set of your prints and DNA.
If you, yo, we gonna need a set of your prints and DNA. Come on, bruv.
Pursuant to 938.27, I will impose a cost of prosecution of $100. Sir, I'm also ordering restitution in that case payable 20 days to tell me the amount of the restitution. There will be no restitution. I will impose that as another condition. That will conclude that. In case number As to count one, reporting probation. Just did so in the previous case. Pursuant to 940-325, no restitution of next. Both cases, all the time that you have served. State, YNW, your announcement as to counts 1 and 2. In case number 20, I think that concludes all the matters. State, is there anything else that you need me to do regarding Mr. Henry in either case?
You just have one moment.
All right. Anyway, the judge mentioned something about the proffer, and so this person's argument with me was that this is a little bit different than federal because the judge is making it clear, I don't care what you do in the proffer. So essentially, he could go in the proffer and lie and spin. So let me go back to
not
that.
Guilty or no contest. Contest, please, as to each, that you understand the nature of the charges, and count 4. I will adjudicate you guilty. Senate.
I wish the thing was popping.
Attorneys do not agree on the amount. I will conduct 6 years of reporting probation.
Okay.
Guilty, not guilty, or no. To count 4 for the purpose of each plea in both cases. Crimes occurred. Sir, you.
By the way, I will say, Melly's younger brother is in here. So if Melly's younger brother is in here, maybe this is an attempted play. I'm just saying, if he tried to spin the cops, I think it ends bad.
Vehicle when these crimes occurred, but actually the opposite would be true. If there was any such physical evidence that could be tested for DNA, that DNA evidence would tell me that you were one of the 2 people that was inside this vehicle when these crimes occurred. Sir, do you agree with that statement? State, do you agree with that statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
By the way, and another reason I called the Gunner plea, didn't Gunner basically also said the same thing? Yeah, I was in the car, but the guns wasn't mine. Ain't this nigga saying, I'm in the car, here's my DNA. If y'all find it anywhere else, it ain't me.
Defense, do you agree with that statement? Mr. Henry, understanding everything that I have talked to you about up to this point, do you still want to go ahead and resolve both cases? Is there anything else that you need me to do before I take this plea? Accessory after the 1-0 contest pleas as to each, that you have knowingly entered each plea, the consequences of the plea. Accordingly, and pursuant to the negotiated agreement, I will sentence you as follows. In case number 19, that will be followed through 7. I won't be as to the amount. I'm going to give you of your sentence to pay back. If they come back with an amount 3 CF10A, as to count 1, reporting probation.
I'm trying to get to the proffer part.
Sentences, all counts. CF10A, your announcement as to counts 1 and 2.
So I'll give you quickly what the bet is. 2 $5,000 bets, right? So the first bet, and I bet that something involved in this. Again, this ain't 6ix9ine snitching where he's gonna be like, he right there, nice Melly, right? No, like, bro, these lawyers are way more advanced, and they disguise what telling is. I believe that the information given up in a proffer, and also by the nature of the pleas that he's taken, accessory after the fact of murder, it helps the state. Oh, why the fuck would the state drop 5 life sentences to just be like, oh, we just want this guy to go home? Come on. So I believe something is there and it'll be obvious. But that might be hard to tell because this is why these lawyers are good. Because just like, you know, Gunner fans get to run around and be like, well, Gunner's statements was used in court. Yeah, nigga. Because Thug's lawyers and everybody else lawyers who stayed on the case stopped fighting the argument that YSL wasn't a gang. Thug actually was right about that when he said it in the interview. Their whole strategy turned from we're not a gang to well, maybe it was a gang, but we were in the record label part. So they conceded. Once niggas start copping pleas that it was a gang, they shifted. So basically they weren't going to contest it anymore, meaning they wouldn't have to call Gunner. But if they were still going to contest that, which would be stupid, they would call Gunner. But Thug's lawyers and all the lawyers stopped arguing that YSL isn't a gang. They just said this guy was doing music, and it was a multifaceted thing, but this was only a musician. You get what I'm saying? So again, Gunner fans get to run around and say, oh, he didn't get called. Yeah, because nothing that he said, he already said it. And then other people reiterated it. Thug's lawyers and everybody else's lawyers just had to pivot. They pivoted to say, well, we could still beat it. Let's just say not everybody was in the gang. Do you get what I'm saying?
Announcing the null process to those counts, Your Honor.
And in case number 23-10643 CF10A, state your announcement as to count 2 and count 5.
This may be announcing the null process to those counts as well.
Well, damn, we might be a
That
gang.
concludes all the matters. State, is there anything else that you need me to do regarding Mr. Henry in either case?
Just if you just have one moment.
I'm looking at the plea forms, the 23 case, they have 707 days credit for time served
Would be assigned
to do it. Defense on behalf of Mr. Henry. Yeah, he'll be on Mr. Nesmith and Mr. Haddad.
Okay.
As to count 3, accessory after, do you understand that? Under the provisions of the Jimmy Rice Act, if the offenses to which you are pleading are sexually violent or upon acknowledge that my attorney and I have reviewed any discovery disclosed by the state.
And they don't have the fucking
and I are unaware of any physical evidence for which
All right, my man. I was trying to find the transcript. I could just search it. There is a part where, damn, can I find? There's a part where the judge says, as far as your proffer, our deal here is done, and basically he's saying, your proffer has nothing to do with me, in a sense.
understanding everything that I have talked to you about up to this point, do you still want to go ahead? I acknowledge that my attorney and I have these forms. And is that your signature on the back? You are not a citizen of the United States. If the offense is, you have the right to appeal any decision this afternoon. Is that what you want to buy with all the work that they have done for you? You have guilty or no contest. On this nature of the charges.
Okay, all right. I'll find it another time because I'm gonna just sit here and OCD over it. God damn. Does anybody know the timestamp for it? Someone said go back more.
As to murder in the first degree, how are you going to? We're going to do one at a time to a PSI defense. Understanding everything that these crimes occurred. That, sir, paragraph 11 of each form that you see probation. I will impose mandatory. There will be no restitution. Count 7. I will accept 1-0.
I can't find it.
State, is there anything else that you need me to do before I take this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Henry, again, 2 cases. We're going to negotiate an agreement. I will sentence you as follows. 9 just did so in the previous case.
Just let it play. I'm gonna let it play. My bad.
Each one has your name on the top, your initials on the left-hand side, front and back, and your signature on the back. Did you go over both of these forms? Any questions about what's on either of these forms? And is that your signature on the back of each form? Sir, there's a few things that I need to tell everyone that I take a plea from. They may or may not apply to you. If you are not a citizen of the United States, these pleas will result in your deportation. Do you understand that? Under the provisions of the Jimmy Rice Act, if the offenses to which you are pleading are sexually violent or sexually motivated offenses, or if you've been previously convicted of such offenses, then these pleas will subject you to an involuntary civil commitment as a sexually violent predator upon completion of your sentences. Do you understand that? If these are the drug offenses, the Department of Motor Vehicles will revoke your driver's license for a period of 1 year. Do you understand that? Sir, paragraph 11 of each form that you sign reads as follows. I acknowledge that my attorney and I have reviewed any discovery disclosed by the state. My attorney and I are unaware of any physical evidence for which DNA may exonerate me. In other words, sir, if there's any physical evidence in the case that we could test for DNA, that DNA evidence would not tell me that you were not one of the people in that vehicle when these crimes occurred. But actually, the opposite would be true. If there was any such physical evidence that could be tested for DNA, that DNA evidence would tell me that you were one of the 2 people that was inside this vehicle when these crimes occurred. Sir, do you agree with that statement?
So basically agreeing that he was in a car.
State, do you agree with that statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, do you agree with that statement? Mr. Henry, understanding everything that I have talked to you about up to this point, do you still want to go ahead and resolve both cases today, right now? Defense, is he stipulating to a factual basis for the purpose of each plea in both cases?
Yes.
And if he's entitled to a PSI defense, are you going to waive that as to each case?
Absolutely.
State, is there anything else?
By the way, so he's stipulating to a factual basis, which means you got to give a factual basis of how you committed accessory after the fact. To me, I don't know how you do that without not tell. Like, if one nigga saying the murder ain't happened and the other nigga saying how he helped the murder happen after it happened, how the hell you ain't like, okay.
that you need me to do before I take your plea?
No,
Okay. So, Mr. Henry, again, 2 cases. We're going to do one at a time. In case number 19, 1871 CF10A, as to count 3, accessory after the fact to murder in the first degree, and as to count 4, accessory after the fact as to murder in the first degree. How are you going to plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? In case number 23, 10643 CF10A, as to count 1, tampering with a witness in a capital felony, and count 7, unlawful use of a two-way communication device. How are you going to plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? I will accept your no contest pleas as to each. I'm going to find a factual basis to support each based upon my review of each electronic probable cause affidavit, as well as your stipulation in court here today. I'm going to further find that you have freely, voluntarily, and intelligently waived your rights, that you have knowingly entered each plea with the advice of competent.
Oh, wow. 7:45. God damn. Y'all look good.
Phillips and reservists to the amount. I'm going to give the state 120 days to tell me the amount of that restitution. If they fail to do so within 120 days, there will be no restitution. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys agree on the amount, I will impose that as another condition of your sentence to pay back that restitution. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys do not agree on the amount, I will conduct a restitution hearing. Sir, lastly, and I want to make it very clear on the record, and it's unrelated to this negotiated change of plea, I guess at some point after the fact, the state wants to take a proffer from you and have a discussion with you, ask you some questions about whatever that may be. What I want you to understand, sir, is I guess that's part of this negotiated resolution, but your answers to any of those questions, whatever they might be, have no bearing on me and have no bearing on this negotiated resolution. In other words, the deal you negotiated is the deal you negotiated, and that's the ballgame. You understand all that, sir? Have you had enough time to talk to your lawyer?
Now, and this is why is again. So the person who made the bet with me, they're going off of this to say he could spin the cops. So here I goes in a proffer session. It's called Queen for a Day. Usually they're giving you a proffer knowing that you either committed crime, and it's really a negotiated thing. This is something where you're not gonna use your Fifth Amendment right in a proffer. Remember, there's 2 murder charges that they no prosec. They essentially got dismissed. They could file them again. So if he goes in a proffer session and says some other shit, now granted, whatever he says, they could usually, sometimes it'll come with an immunity or whatever of the sorts. They could just file more charges against the nigga. So again, it's kind of worthless to go in there and just flat out lie. You know what I mean? Again, remember, even if, and also I believe it helps the state case, even if he doesn't fully point the finger at Melly. Melly's story is that he got dropped off at a certain time. If his truthful story doesn't exactly match Melly's story, Melly looks like a liar, and they could use that. So again, I think there's multiple ways how the police or the DA is going to use this, but that's my first bet. Then the second bet is that when we get the plea agreement, he has to testify if called upon, because I don't know why everybody keeps saying niggas is signing deals and getting out of jail early, but they don't have to take the stand if called upon. Not saying you're the star witness, but if called upon. If for whatever reason you're called upon, I've never seen a deal where you sign a deal that says I never have to take the stand. What the fuck point of a deal is that? So again, maybe they don't need him, but I guarantee in that plea agreement, it says if he's called to testify under oath to the truthfulness of the statements he made in this plea agreement or in the proffer session, he has to. I guarantee. So those are the 2 bets. Anyway, let me go check in on Kai Cenat, and we'll talk about Drake in a little bit with Kai Cenat. But a Kai Cenat said Young Boy concert. This should look like it's a movie.
Hey, it's
Yo, that's the first white person I've seen at Young Boy's concert. What the fuck? You got pimple commercials on this shit? What the hell? Yo, that's the first white person I've seen at Young Boy's concert, man. That's an infiltrator. That's an infiltrator. I ain't gonna lie, I went to a Travis Scott concert. I ain't seen more than 10 black people. That's a fact. Travis Scott concert was straight white people. I ain't gonna hold you. Nothing wrong with it, by the way. You feel me? There was no violence. There's a bunch of people like, yo, yeah, dude, Rager and all that bullshit. You know what I mean? Drake concerts, a lot of hoes. There's old people, little kids. It's a mixed bag. I wouldn't say there's decent amount of black people and white people and Spanish people. You could just see it's niggas who got money. Kendrick concert just looked like a Black Panther rally. Look like some niggas who's anti-deodorant. Well, actually, no. His concerts back in the day. This time when I seen him at the stadium, it was looks like a pop person concert. So, and it was him and SZA. So I get it. All right, is this ad fucking done? Yo, Twitch won't let you skip the ad. Wow, y'all went to the next tab trying to skip it. Unless, yo, Kai is running some crazy ads, huh? Holy. Yeah, that boy got 239,000. Yo, y'all think Drake finna apologize to Kai? We got to keep it a bean. Niggas need Kai. Like, you think Drake will apologize to Kai? But really, Drake ain't this Kai. We're going to talk about it in a second. He ain't this him. Drake, you know, Drake a little sassy. Drake put up, Drake, he a troll. So Kai trolled him. He trolled Kai back. You can't be mad at it. It is what it is. But I do think all these rappers need Kai. I ain't gonna hold you. I can watch it on YouTube. Trying to watch it on. All right, it's 48 seconds, man. Jesus Christ. I gotta holler at Twitch, man. Get back up on that bit. I said that's Sneeko. He too old to diss Kai? No, he not. But I do think Drake has been kind of pandering to that audience. Like, it wouldn't make sense for him to turn Kai into an op. So that's why I know he's trolling. You get what I'm saying? All right, 15 seconds. Let's see how it's looking, huh? Let's see. Fuck. All right, here we go. Wait, did AMP just take over YB's concert? Nah, it must be an LA crowd, man. No shiesty? Bitch. Not 250,000 people. Chat good? Yeah, chat good. Yo, chat, I ain't gonna lie. Sold out. Let me give you the realistic take of YB's concert. I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. And this is no hate. This is no hate. I hope nobody get mad at me saying this. I think the organizers have to be excited or glad that nigga EBK Jabo did not get on this tour. Nigga, I'm going to keep it a bean. It would have been too many felonies, shootings. These are the people that got money that could buy the front row tickets. There's a bunch of YNs up in there. I'll be honest with you. Like everybody else, like Tusi over there, he go up in
Love slots? The DraftKings Casino app's got you covered. They got tons of slots to choose from, like Puffin More.
They want to rob him. They just kind of back up like, what the fuck is this nigga? So Tusi performs. You know what I mean? He got a little movement for the girls. The girls be loving him type shit. You know what I mean? Who else? Lil Dump. Like, I don't know. Lil Dump is like Baby YB or something like that. It's like Rakai for Kai Cenat. So he on stage just mad while the music playing. Who else? And then Offset perform. And I ain't gonna lie to you, chat. Like, this crowd, at least the crowd that I went to, and no this to Offset, that's my man's. This crowd was even too young for Offset. You could tell there was this like watching Offset like. Then they hear Bad and Bougie. Oh, Bad and Bougie. Trust me. Nigga. I was like, oh, damn, this crowd kind of tame. Nigga. At a point, like right here, when it turned green, it's because YB finna come out. Nigga, at that point, it was just straight madness from, like, really, they're only there for, not Kai. I mean, they're only there for YB. So, like, really, the openers, shout out to the openers. But thank God he didn't have, like, a bunch of other niggas that YNs are listening to right now. Like he has a good mix. He brought somebody for the ladies. He brought like, you know, Offset also as a superstar, but like, you know, it's different. Like if Offset was on tour with like Drake, it would probably go up way more because I watch this shit. Like, not saying it don't go up. It's just that these hoodlums really get active for YB and YB only. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I ain't gonna lie. So we'll see. I don't know if Offset performed yet, but usually once they hit the green shit.
Hold on, we got a help little man.
Give me opportunity, bro. Give me opportunity, bro.
I will say though, during the breaks, all they played was Drake. Like, okay. Damn, how does he have great quality like that?
Be better than me. Be better than me. Be better than me. Can I get a low-key play? A what? Go ahead. I'm a 2K. Guard across. Say that.
Yo, is this like Fredo 5 times? Who the fuck is this nigga?
I'll give you 300 for it right now. Oh, shit on my neck.
Is that like a thing? Because when niggas was heckling me going in and say they would give me $300 for a follow too. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yo, Kyle, what's your favorite YB song? Hey, Kyle, what's your favorite YB song? Come on, bro, I play it all the time. All of it. House arresting. Wait, what's your Casey, what's your build on 2K? What's your build on 2K? My build on 2K, I'm a sharp shooting.
Okay, all right. We might as well just tap back in. But they got different camera. Yo, what type of production is this? This shit crystal clear. Nigga, they're on the move in an arena of 20,000 and their camera clearer than mine and I'm at home. Nah, this is a disgrace. It's a disgrace. All right, okay. So I don't think, let me see. What time is it in LA? Yeah, YB's gonna get on. It's 9:30. Yeah, he usually get on at like between now and 10. Yeah. Okay. Let's go get into this whole Drake and Kai thing real quick, and then we'll pop back in and hopefully there's something going on, right? All right. So everybody's up in arms because they're feeling like Drake dissed Kai after Drake put up a photo collage where he says, Paris, how we looking? And one of the slides feature this. Now, this is Kai's forehead / hairline. And I mean, I don't know what's funny necessarily about it, but shit. I think Drake is probably just like throwing it up there to get a couple laughs. Who cares? Obviously, people in the comment section, because the Drake comment section is laughing. It's fucking hilarious, right? Oh my God, Kai, like whatever. And yeah, some people believe it's because Kai Cenat gave his opinion about episode 3 of Iceman. Now, let me see, Kai. Let me see if I could play you guys that. And his opinion was that this shit was ass. That's what he said. Let me see. Hold on. Pause. I just typed in Kai Cenat ass. It better not show porn. Show porn. Okay, good. What the fuck? Why can't I see it? Drake. Why can't I see it? Is it this?
I feel. I don't know if that's how I feel, nigga. I don't know about that one. At first, it was, it was a vibe. But I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay. Then he had further opinions about, damn, his new shit. Let me see. Why the fuck can't I find it? Jesus Christ. Kai Cenat. Wait, what the fuck? Kai Cenat, Drake, ass. Pause. Damn, what type of search terms am I doing right now? Right here.
Biggest waste of my fucking time of all time. The biggest waste of my goddamn. R.I.P. to Armani. R.I.P. to Armani. R.I.P. to Armani. Yo, I can't fake it. I can't fake it. That was ass. I can't fake it. I can't fake it. I actually can't fake it. I actually can't fake it. That was so ass.
Now, okay. So here's the thing. A lot of people believe that Kai went overboard with his opinion. And that him saying it was ass or it was a waste of time, he went too crazy. I mean, even Los Pollos commented, and he's a peer of Kai, and he was like, "Yo, bro, you went a little bit too hard." He said this:
"I can't fake it. I can't fake it. I actually can't fake it. That was so ass."
You just sit there, the dude does this whole thing, and you go, "That was ass." Now it's one thing, bro. It's one thing to not.
That's not his real voice. That's a chipmunk voice.
To be like, oh, you know what? Like, if you want to give it a rating, like, oh, that was a 6 out of 10 or that, whatever. Like, respectfully, right? But when you just go to someone's art and go, that shit was ass, that's literally fighting words, bro. That's literally fucked up. And it's like, it just is fucked up. It just is fucked up. And the reason I say art is because that's what it was, bro. And I love that people go like, oh, dude, that didn't even make sense. But meanwhile, if it was fucking K-Bot, what the fuck would they say? There'd be entire fucking hour-long breakdowns of each frame. Oh, did you see when Kendrick was facing the right? That's because of the comp. Dude,
I can't fake.
Okay. Now, people believe Drake posted that was in response. Now, Kai, I believe, responded to Drake posting that. And let me see. I think he responded. I think I'm hearing that he tried to call Drake. Is that true? Oh, okay.
Drake! Why would this nigga post my shit? Where you get this from? I'm so like that. I'm so like that. I'm calling him on the spot. I'm calling him right now. I'm so like that. I'm calling him right now. I haven't spoken to him in so long, but I'm calling him right now. And hey, Drake, if you don't answer, man, I'm calling him right now. It's not ringing. Is he out the U.S.? What type of? I'm asking why he posted this picture. He didn't block me. This doesn't mean blocked.
Your call has been forwarded.
D&D. He's in Europe. He should be able to answer. Do I call him through WhatsApp? Oh, I got to FaceTime him. You're right. I got to FaceTime him. I'm a FaceTime audio him. You're right. You're so right.
Okay. All right. So basically he didn't respond. Now, the question or people are trying to ask, are they beefing, whatever. Now, here's my opinion first and foremost. I believe that they're trolling. I've had a critical opinion about Drake, and Drake has posted me. and I don't take anything of it. Because here's the thing, I give my opinion all day about everybody. I get my jokes off on everybody. And I do think oftentimes fans think, because I deal with it with sometimes y'all. Like I give my opinion about people and whatever. And then when y'all give y'all opinion about me, like, or sometimes y'all do it to me. Y'all give y'all opinion about me. And when I respond, it's like, damn, you bothered. Hey, no, we're all human. So if I'm over here giving my opinion about somebody and they want to get a little funny joke, I don't think he's mad. Get a funny joke. Who gives a fuck? I think he was just trying to clown Kai a little bit. But yeah, Kai's also criticizing him. I don't think it means that he's in his feelings, right? Now, that's what I believe. I think
if you fall below the speed of 3 miles per hour, warning, you get your ticket. Warning. There's one winner, warning, and no finish line. Warning. 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 Rated R.
I has switched sides, and he's now on Team LeBron because he's doing this mafia-thon, and if he gets to 1 million subs, LeBron is going to cut his hair, and LeBron is like Drake's op, and da-da-da-da, and I'm like, well, I can't speak for Drake, but I hope it's not that. I really think it's just harmless joking, but I got to be honest with you, okay? It would be stupid, if you ask me, for Drake to even try to have any type of beef with Kai. Number one, I think every rapper in the game needs Kai because they're all pandering to his audience. And I keep telling y'all, Kai's audience aren't necessarily fans of music. They're fans of Kai's personal curation and taste, which means if Kai likes you, they like you. Second or thirdly of all, I think history has proven, I've seen more clips of Drake like hitting up Kai than Kai trying to get Drake's attention, which, that's very different than normally most streamers. Like, and I mean, you can look it up. You can look it up. Just type in Kai Cenat Drake. And if you look it up, you'll see many examples. Drake texts Kai, stay on stream. I'm dropping my diss song. By the way, also Kai doesn't come off as a hater. He's vibing to the song with Yachty and Drake. I'm watching the moves playing it. I'm watching the moves playing it. He enjoyed that song. He said it was amazing, right? Drake has posted Kai on his story, called him a real one already, right? Like, these are things that if you were upset that he called an episode of yours ass, it looked funny on you, not him, right? Like, you can't call a nigga a real one because he didn't like something you did with your art. It's not like he said you a bitch or you a fake nigga. If he's bigged up your songs before and he don't like one song or one episode, you can't beef with him for that. And by the way, I don't think Drake is going to beef with him for it. So I'm just trying to analyze different type of things here. Look, let's see what else. Well, maybe I said Drake had canceled on Kai to do stream with Aiden. Oh, I didn't know that. All right. I don't know if it's clickbait. Okay. Let me see what they did collab on the Somebody You Love's project. So that's another thing. Drake commented on a post saying he was hyped to meet Kai. I'm gonna be honest with you. The one thing I can say about Kai, as opposed to most other streamers, including myself, I can't say Kai is fanboying over Drake. It seems like there's mutual respect here, and it seems like there's no hate on both sides. So there's nothing that I could look at Kai like, oh, you mad because this, or it seems like it's mutual respect. So again, it just goes into theory. Into my theory that I don't believe this. This is all about nothing, right? The last thing is what? Let me see. Yeah, Drake said Kai deserved, showing mutual love. Says Kai deserved 50 million from Twitch. You know what I mean? So they've given each other love back and forth. Pause. If you ask me, I think this is a lot about nothing. Somebody says, what? Drake is Team Aiden? Okay. Well, how does that have to do with Kai? I don't get it. Also, I've been told y'all this. I think we Drake fans keep thinking that niggas like Kai and some of these younger streamers give a fuck about Drake more than they do. Honestly, respectfully. Like, I think they look at Drake not as how some people that's in my chat, and maybe I do, like, oh, this is the greatest artist of all time. I think they look at him as, yeah, if I do a stream with him, I think I get a lot of views. That's it. Like, it's not that deep for them. Like, they don't.
You made it to the end. Now make it official. Subscribe to Giziano where the best keeps getting better.